a recollection that I saw a sign saying the path along the river was closed in a portion here. So I am riding through Brixton. Getting my photo taken in the hopes that I am bypassing the closed section of trail. What I like about Brixton is that it's mostly pedestrian and bicycle traffic. There's very little actual cars here. Can you imagine if it was like this in the US? I feel like this can't possibly be the official Radvik because I don't recall it being this horrific surface. Anyway, today I ride the Brenner Pass. I am not enthusiastic about it because it's 35 miles of riding uphill, mostly. And then it goes back down. Lots down. So now begins the uphill slog. We're gonna throw some gravel in here today. This is a little park area outside of Brixton. What gravel there is today is short. In this section at least is easy riding. But there is a part coming up that I was going to bypass on the road until I checked the elevation profile last night and realized that it's uphill on the road, and that is not something I really want to do. But you know what? I have resigned myself to the fact that it's going to be really slow going today. That's why I'm only going 44 miles. It's all uphill for the first 35 miles, and that's going to take me a while to get through. Stertzing is 28 kilometers, and there are some little spiky hills in those 28 kilometers. And in Stertzing I can get some ice cream and maybe hit a bakery. It's all bike trail, which I think is wonderful. And that's actually the big reason why I've opted to go this direction, to come over the Brenner Pass the other way. That part is in Austria, and they have not created a bike trail. Of the day. This is going to take me up to the hike-a-bike section of gravel, unless they have paved it since I was last here. I have outfitted myself with a bottle of Gatorade, a couple of granola bars, 2 bags of gummy bears, a bag of chips, and a couple of rolls for my fuel today. The weather is supposed to be sunny today. In fact, it might be the first day of this trip when it doesn't rain, at least a little bit. So that means I'll get a nice view of the mountains, but it also means that it's going to be warm. A nice little hard. Little creek running through it. I've gone 2 miles and already my GPS shows 160 feet of elevation gain. It is pretty much all uphill from Brixton. This is the part of the trip that I've been most concerned about. I knew the Brenner Pass was short, but this is 35 miles of pretty much up. So I'll be spending a lot of time in the little ring today. We are definitely climbing, and it is roasty toasty here. We're at over 300 feet of elevation gain. In only 2.5 miles. Here on the right, I've now done 3 miles and 400 feet of ascent according to my GPS. Just brutal. However, I have achieved the 10th of today's ride. So 30 minutes and 5 hours. Seriously, man. After a while, it just gets demoralizing. I think they've altered the route a little bit. Or I just misread it last time. Because it didn't come through this way to the Varnosay before. This is the nasty gravel section. You have a lovely view, but it is exactly as nasty as I remember. It does have a slight downhill gradient to it though. And what? Sheep. One who loves his bike will push. I've been at this for a while, and this section is actually worse than I remember it. Probably some stuff has gotten washed away over the years in the rain. But there's no way I would want to risk riding through here. It's too hard on the suspension. So it's a little bit of a change to today's riding. That is especially bad. It's been washed out by the rain. Well, there's this giant mud hole. Bike's already muddy, so at this point it's more about avoiding getting my shoes full of mud, I think. Just in case the gravel ever ends and I get to start pedaling again. Question, if I'm going to be pushing for the rest of the day. This is a much longer stretch than I remember. Of course, on my bike I just bumped along and hoped for the best. But I can't ride this. Not with a Velomobile. There is a bypass on the other side of the valley that I think is paved, and I probably Put the hike-a-bike journey at 1.1 miles and roughly 45 minutes. So my advice is bypass that section. It takes a long time and it's not rideable in a Velomobile or a recumbent bike. Maybe a trike if you have suspension. But anyway, it wasn't very much fun. That's the easy way over the pass. This that are shaded where the grade lets up. They are such a welcome relief. Even if they're right next to the Autobahn, I don't care. This could very easily be the toughest day I've ever had on a bike. By a lot. You can't help but noticing everybody going the other way is coasting. So closing in on 700 feet of elevation gain in 5.5 miles. It's just non-stop. Below, past this fence that you may not be able to see through, is Franzens Fest. It's some sort of a fortress that I'm not sure what it's supposed to guard. If it was the intersection of major trade route or what. 56 minutes to go 5 miles. Definitely my slowest ever split. Sorry for what I've done to this Velomobile. It didn't deserve it. There are mercifully some sections along here where the elevation is much less. Anything that helps pick up my speed is very much welcome right now. Uh-oh. Now what? Yelling at me because he did it in the town. But he held up a finger as if he was going to come and move it or something. So I guess we have to wait and see? I don't know. This is insane. I didn't need this. I can. Well, at least it's not raining. There is that. I hate these things. I really hate them. Of the stuff around here is equipment for the Brenner Pass tunnel. I think supposed to cross, which is being here. It's a pity they don't have a tunnel shaft for bicycles. Would make today a lot easier. These moments. This might be my high speed for the day. 15 miles an hour. I'm there. And one atop the stop sign. And one there. And I still managed to not see the signs at this corner. Good job, Ben. Good job. I like going fast. Today is not a day for me to go fast. I have sad feelings about that. Alright, momentum, momentum, momentum. Please. No. Ground to a halt yet again. Had some up and down for a little bit. The down is, of course, very welcome. Any little bit I don't have to pedal, I consider a bonus. It's a pretty little stretch in here. As the valley narrows, there was a waterfall a little bit ago. And while attempting to get out and check it out, I'm sure it was a lovely waterfall. I've gone a little over 10.5 miles, and I've been going for 3 hours. So if you do the math, that's not a real good sign. I'm at over 1,300 feet of elevation gain, and I've gone about 13.5 miles, which is it's a lot of up. This is without question the single hardest thing I've ever done on a bicycle. Hello, chickens. It would have probably been a good idea to have a rest day yesterday instead of doing 66 miles, with the last 20 being, compared to this, gently uphill. I've done 1,500 feet at least of elevation gain, and I'm at about 14.5 miles. And it just does not let up. It's a mighty long way down to the other side of the valley. And based on having around 1,700 feet of elevation gain, it's not surprising. I spot. It is very steep. Very steep. I feel very bad for them, but the rest of the day they get to go down. Unfortunately, I now have to go out myself. Nobody gets the easy end of the stick here. And this is a nasty little steep bit. So the road here, you have to wonder how long are still going to be here before it just becomes a cliff face. Peaks are starting to come into view. It will be quite a view from the top, I think. Might be a little bit of a respite heading into Sing now. I recall a section along the river. That is some semblance of flat-ish castle up on the hill to my right. Roughly 20-mile mark. I've done 1,800 feet of elevation gain so far. This last little bit has been mercifully flatter, which is good because my knees are kind of starting to cry. Took me, I left about 9:30 this morning. It's now 1:45. Have passed, and now it's Radvik. At the moment downhill, and that is not going to last. I certainly have fond memories of this going in the other direction. It was a very, very lovely downhill cruise, except for a couple of spots that are non-Radvik, where I recall there being punchy little climbs, including through the town, which may have been Gozensass. Recollections of there being some hills, steep little pitches in here, ironically near these trash bins. I think I remember the trash bins because They were so different than bins I'd ever seen before. I think I go up into those hills because why the heck not? Why do that when we can follow a river? We wouldn't want to do that. Look at the Autobahn way up there up high. Okay, photo stop, folks, photo stop. This little section of hills. And I remember thinking, man, these are really hard. Why are these so hard? My legs should be fresh, which they are not today. And it turns out that the derailleur on that recumbent bike was rubbing on the tire. I'd put a fatter tire on the back, and I thought I had enough clearance before I left, and discovered a day or two later that no, I didn't have as much clearance as I thought. And so for a while I had to ride without my very lowest gear. That is not the case today. Today it is that I've done over 2,000 feet of ascent after riding way too many miles in the last few days and having a very spiky, punchy set of hills this morning. Oh. Where's the nice ride bike? The lady at the bakery said this wouldn't be hard. This is a hard-earned descent. Unfortunately, I'm afraid I'm gonna have to get all of that climbing back. Golden sauce. Have no idea if that's significant or not, but there are some definite hills in this area. Okay, do I go there or here? No, that's a driveway, so I go straight. Shoot, I lost momentum. It's also broiling hot out here in the sun. Scenery is nice, and I do believe this is the spot I was thinking of, where it makes kind of a loop to the west and then back to the east. It was very lovely going in the other direction, as I recall. Beautiful mountain panorama though. Quite a bit of snow. Looks like there's some avalanche on the one, the second pointy tip in. I'm sure this is a very lovely hiking location. Saw an older guy over here stacking his wood. That is beautiful. Forest is most welcome at this moment. At about 2,400 feet of elevation gain, according to my GPS. I get to the serpentine bit that I remembered. I can only hope from there that it's way, way easier going. I've got maybe 7 or 8 miles yet of climbing, and then starts the descent for about 10 miles to Matrai. where my hotel is. Broke out my bag of chips. I've enjoyed some nice snacking, hoping to get a little bit of salt into my system to replace some of what I've been sweating out all day. The loop to the west is completed, and I'm now back in the same part of the valley as the Brenner Bahn, the Autobahn, and the new train line. And of course, someplace underneath all of that is the Brenner Pass tunnel. These buildings presumably are old buildings associated with the train line used to run here. Amazingly enough, I seem to be going ever so slightly, maybe downhill. Somebody looks like they've resurrected one of the old buildings along the rail route and turned it into a biker stop. Back to 2 to 3% grades here, and there is not much left in the tank. I'm nearing 3,000 feet in elevation gain for the day. Tunnels along here. I don't remember if it was one or two, but this is obviously one of them. More buildings and another tunnel and shelter. There's something very mildly entertaining about watching the traffic go by. It's a change from watching trees and mountains. And the gradient has led up to about 1%. Cow poop. To the left is the current tunnel for the train that actually takes somewhat similar path to what I took on the Redvik, but it does it through the mountain. And of course, eventually there'll be the new tunnel whenever they get around to finishing that. Oh, hallelujah. I'm in Brenner Pass. There's not really anything left on my legs. We are somewhere very near the top. Not quite there yet, but you start to see border crossing type stuff. The sign says Brenner. I have proof. And there is a sign that says Austria. So somewhere here I have achieved the Brenner Pass. Departing Brenner, beginning the long descent to Innsbruck. And I do not particularly want to be on this road, but I don't actually have a choice. There are no other roads. that was that. I made it over the Brenner Pass. The pass itself was the easy part, but getting there, that was tough. By far my toughest ever day in a bicycle. And while I don't really plan to do this route again, I do feel a sense of accomplishment for having done it.